What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Ehuntr podcast. I'm your host for this episode, Taryn Hunt. Got a really fun podcast for you guys today. Got the guys with Second Chance Outdoors on the line with me today. So we're going to talk about them and who they are, what they do as a company, and get a little bit more details about them. Before we get started, though, as always, want to thank our sponsors, Vortex Optics. Appreciate them and everything that they do for us here at Ehuntr. Check them out at vortexoptics.com. Without further ado, let's jump into the podcast with the guys with Second Chance Outdoors. Cool, man. Well, let's jump into it and get started on this thing. I'll try not to keep you too long, but like I was saying, I want to, get your guys' name out there a little bit more and talk about a little bit about what you guys do. But before we jump into it, if you wouldn't mind, would you mind telling everybody who you are, what you do, and things like that?
Yeah, Logan McKinney. I'm the president and founder of Second Chance Outdoors. We're a 501c3 veteran-owned nonprofit. We take veterans and first responders out hunting, fishing, camping, all those cool things, right? To get them outside and get them outdoors and all the things to help with mental health and PTS and stuff like that. Aside from that, I recently just opened a brick and mortar coffee shop. So that's kind of been my full time here recently. I was running that, and we've been doing really good. And I've got some staff in here that makes Second Chance Outdoors like legitimately possible, because they come in, they own it, they clean, take care of the customers, make great coffee, and then I can kind of sit back here in this corner,
literally in the corner,
and help grow the business. And now I'm also helping build out the Kansas City chapter of the Midwest Veterans Chamber of Commerce. So that's coming to Kansas City here next month, and that's been a pretty big project. But yeah, man, we're staying busy.
Dang, man, you got a lot of stuff going on. Jeez.
So many irons and so many fires. It's chaos.
Hopefully you find some time in there to hunt yourself. I mean, is that even possible?
At least it's like January now, so we're kind of right there at the end of the season. So this is now the busy time, but I think I'll find some time coming up this fall for sure.
Nice.
I'm gonna need a mental unplug. Just like, nah.
That's what I find. So I have my normal day job, my 9 to 5 that I do. I'm a VP for a home health and hospice company, and like hunting is like my chance to get away and just kind of rejuvenate and fill that bucket back up. So
unplug, man.
Yeah. Turn the phone off. Turn all the crap that the world is right now off, and just
the
enjoy.
Noise.
And that speaks a lot to what you guys are doing. I know we'll get into it a little bit more, but veterans specifically have I think a lot more noise than some of the rest of us, because there's a lot of mental health and things like that play into it, and so they need to unplug. They need that time that they can get away and just, heaven forbid, enjoy life for a minute.
Yeah, man, and that's it. That's the coolest thing about taking one of these guys or gals out in the camp. The first day, everybody's still kind of like doing that weird dance, like, who are you? Like, nice to meet you. And then, we go hunt.
Yeah.
And we come back to camp, and we have dinner, and we have food, and we have fellowship and conversations. And then throughout the week, you just see that tension in their shoulders just kind of relax, and like some color comes back in their face a little bit, even though they're getting their ass kicked on the mountain, their snot's coming out of their mouth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they look haggard, but like they're filled. And that's the coolest part of it, hands down, for me.
Well, and man, just like I said, the mental health side of it too, because I swear, in today's day and age, all people want to do is play on a phone or sit behind a screen, and that is the worst thing to do. So I'm a nurse, and I've studied a lot of these comorbidities and these disease processes, whether it's physical or mental, and that it truly is the worst thing that you can do for somebody that has PTSD or any other kind of mental, depression, anxiety.
Yeah.
All those things are exacerbated by sitting behind a screen or a phone. But if you can get them in the outdoors and, like you said, work their ass off, make them hike these mountains, snot coming out of their nose, just sweat, literally sweat and blood.
Go through a little suck.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for it. It's good for everybody.
Absolutely.
So
it's good for your soul, man.
It really is. Shoot. So before we really jump into that, I kind of want to, I saw your post. It's been a couple of weeks ago. I follow you guys pretty closely. Well, let me tell you this as well, Logan. So I started out as an EMT. That's kind of where I started in the healthcare industry. My dad is still a paramedic, fire chief in Arizona. He sends me pictures and text messages of the things he's going on, and I mean, that guy, when he finally settles down and is done being a paramedic, I'm sure he'll have a lot of like some demons haunting him. He's seen some pretty sketchy stuff, and so I say all that just to let you know that's why I really started following you guys and what you're doing, because I know you guys do a lot for first responders, and from a personal level, I want to tell you thank you for doing that. But before we jump into that, let's talk about your coffee company, because like I said, I was looking at your posts and I saw this coffee company. So it's in Kansas City, correct?
Yeah. We're just a little mom and pop brick and mortar, man. Like, we're nothing big, we're nothing fancy, just a little coffee shop in a little town outside of Kansas City making some really good coffee. We've struck a partnership with a roaster here in Kansas City locally, and they roast all our coffee for us. And we got to go down there and cup coffee and geek out on coffee and build our flavor profiles and roast profiles and all this stuff, man.
Nice,
so
nice.
like, I'm not like on the Jared Taylor or the Evan Hafer level of coffee gurus, but I think I can make a pretty decent cup of coffee every once in a while.
So are you is it just gonna be brick and mortar, or are you eventually gonna do some online sales with this? Because it sounds pretty tasty. And I'm not in Kansas City.
That was on my list of things to do this week. Was actually work on building out our website.
Nice.
Hit a few snags, but there will be an e-com side of it. So, because I have a lot of family and friends out of state, and they want to help support, the local business and the small business. So we will sell coffee online and, a couple of t-shirts here and there, but that's not my, that's not our, the end all be all for what we got going on here, but there will be a little online footprint.
Well, that's a selfish question, because, for most people that live in Utah, we want to try these things that are in Kansas City.
Absolutely.
And I don't get to travel out there very often. So.
Well, you guys have some good coffee. I'm trying to remember where I went. It was just a little tiny shop, like south of Salt Lake City on the way out of town towards Beaver, and just swung through, had a good Americano, but I can't remember the name of it. And it wasn't in the greatest part of town from what I could gather just by looking around. But
yeah.
It was good.
Hey, that's sometimes where you find the best places, whether it's food or whether it's coffee or whatever. Find that hole in the wall somewhere, and it's always the best stuff. Like when I'm looking for Mexican food, you find the one that looks the trashiest, and that's where exactly that's where I'm going.
I'm here for a stabbing and tacos, please.
Oh shoot! Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad that you're doing it, and I'm glad that it's allowing you to spend more time with Second Chance Outdoors, committing more to that, because I think what you guys are doing is for an amazing cause that you guys can really truly make an impact on people's lives, and let's be honest, save people's lives. And I think that's something that I'd really like to dig into today as we talk about Second Chance Outdoors is what you guys have done for people that have suicidal ideations and things like that. And so let's jump into Second Chance Outdoors.
Yeah,
so is the company, is it just you? Do you have some partners? Do we need to get some shout outs here as you guys have got this going?
So it's me, my business partners, Nate Keene and Josh Anderson. They help me with all the day-to-day stuff, whether that's helping go on hunts out west or helping me with events. I mean, those two are flying to Kansas City in February to help me with an event that we got going on here. I mean, they're rock stars, and they're both, Josh is getting ready to retire. Nate recently retired from the Air Force, and they're fire and forget, man. I'll be like, hey, we need to move in this direction. And they're like, see ya.
Let's go.
And off they go. And then I get an awesome completed product in return. And we can go forth and, continue to grow and expand the mission and impact more and more dudes. So without those guys, like, there's no way, man. There's like no chance in hell. We would be anywhere as an organization that's halfway organized like we are right now.
Dude, it takes a village to create something like you got going on. One man it's a tough job for one man to do. So it does take a village to do it.
Well, absolutely, man. And not only that, but they're way smarter than I am about a lot of stuff, and they hold me accountable. I hold them accountable. And if I'm looking at a problem that we're facing, whether it's a fundraising problem or a conversation we're having with a state representative or a congressperson, like, I can bounce ideas off of them and not sound like a complete crazy person talking to these other business owners or another veteran or, somebody in politics.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
that's cool. And I really did want to give them a shout out, because I do know that it's more than just you. It really does take a team. So tell me and tell our listeners a little bit about what you guys have done. What was 2021 like for you guys? I know with COVID, everything's been just jacked up, but what has that done to you guys, and what kind of cool things did you guys do this past year?
the great thing about hunting is social distancing is included.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't going to let COVID slow us down as much as possible, right? So if we had guys that were coming into camp or girls that were coming into camp that were worried about COVID, then we would accommodate, but we didn't run into any of that this year, thankfully.
Yeah.
We hunted from freaking Colorado to Tennessee and everywhere in between this year. We got to send people to Arizona on coos deer hunts, sent a couple of Army guys on a couple of whitetail hunts in Tennessee. I went on a whitetail hunt with Black Rifle Coffee and a couple of their employees in Tennessee to kind of help with one of their veterans that they have that's going through some stuff. And then we got to take a current law enforcement officer. I can't say his agency, so I'm going to try really hard. A current law enforcement officer from a large metropolitan agency in the western half of the United States.
Nice.
On a just killer elk hunt, man. Like,
oh, man.
Tag soup, but incredible. And when I was talking about watching that weight and those shoulders kind of come down and a little bit, he was the one I was talking about, because we got our asses kicked on that hunt.
Nice.
But, all in all, I think it was 10 hunters that we were able to get outdoors this year.
Wow.
Dude, we've got to go all over this year, going to Mountain Archery Fest and doing all those things and playing cornhole from freaking Durango to Beaver, man. Like, it was a good year.
Yeah.
It was a great year. We put a lot of miles on the truck, but like,
so worth it though. So worth it. So
worth it.
So was that elk hunt was that in Colorado that you did that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
So
we did over
man.
the counter second rifle, I believe it was.
Nice. Oh man, I did first rifle in Colorado this year, and it was pure hell, honestly. We hike in, we use llamas to hike in, and it's about 7 miles I think back that we hike in, and then we do our camp there and then hunt from there. Man, we had so much snow. It was so muddy. It was so cold. It was ridiculous.
So bad. And then that snow, when it melts, just turns into that awful, just sloppy mud that you get sucked into. You're like,
yeah,
bro, quicksand is real.
There's no gator in the world that can stop that mud from going in your boots. I'll tell you that much.
I would challenge Tyler from TMK to figure that problem out with his.
Please.
He's got solid gators, but you can't beat quicksand.
Man, when you're sunk to your knee,
bro.
I mean, what do you do? You know?
Just hope you don't wiggle too much and it sucks you under, man. Like,
dude, there were times I thought I was going down. Like, I thought I was done for. Just leave me there, take my stuff, and leave me here. I'm stuck.
I've seen Indiana Jones, and I've seen this play out.
Oh, and the bad thing was, so the trail we took, there were a bunch of horses, because we were clear back in there, so people would always take horses. And so that you get that mud, and then the horses come in and mix that up, and that that doesn't help at all. It makes it even worse.
Sloppy, soupy mess.
And then the crazy thing is, like, okay, so that was nasty and cold and snowy and just miserable. And then third season, I did deer in Colorado. It was beautiful.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was like 60 degrees. I was like, a little bit backwards here. Yeah,
wait a minute.
Exactly.
I'm confused.
Oh my gosh, it was so weird. But that's awesome that you guys got to get him out there and let him experience. Man. You know what? Even eating tag soup, kind of like what we were saying, it's still so good for the soul. Even if you don't harvest something, harvesting something is kind of that cherry on the top, but it's not the whole Sunday, man. The whole Sunday is getting out there and hiking your butt off.
Absolutely, because tag soup was a real thing.
It is.
But we had fun, man, and like you're saying, it's not just about putting a trophy on the wall or filling the freezer, so to speak. It's about the camaraderie and the fellowship and the conversations that happen in camp. Because there are some goofy conversations, some off the wall stuff that stuff will stay there forever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But then there's those genuine conversations, those real hard conversations that either happen in camp or even when you get back home. Like last year I had a veteran come call me up and say, "Hey man, I appreciate you taking the time to show me elk hunting. We didn't take any beer with us on that hunt, and I haven't drank since I've been back, and I have a better relationship with my wife and my son now." And so, yeah,
dude, you're giving me chills. Dude, you're giving me chills right now, dude.
That's better than anything in the record book, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, and he's still doing well. I stay in contact with him pretty regularly. So, I mean, he's still making improvements day in and day out, and that's all mental health is, man. It's just a fight every single day.
It really is. And it's a legitimate fight too. It's not. It's not for the lighthearted people. That it's a legitimate fight.
And some days are way easy, right? It's not even a thing. But other days, it's like, oh shit, you woke up swinging today.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Let's move. Let's roll.
Tell me about some of those if you can. You can tell me to just mind my own business, but tell me about some of those conversations that you have with these guys when it gets real. I mean, there's always going to be those joking and hey, pulling each other's leg and giving each other a bad time. But tell me a little bit about those conversations, those deep conversations you guys have.
So I won't speak on anybody else's conversation because that's their story to tell. But I can tell a little bit about mine and some of the conversations that I've got to share in camp. And when we talk about mental health, we talk about veterans and we talk about first responders. There's always that lingering monster of suicide, right?
Yep.
And everybody's afraid to say the suicide word and all these things. Well, I've tried. You know what I mean? Like I've tried, pulled the trigger, gun went click instead of bang. And so being able to relate to these guys when they're having that fight and show them, and I'm not healed, I'm not fixed, I'm not perfect, right? So right. I hope the listeners don't get that kind of vibe from what I'm trying to say. But going from that scenario, that situation to where I'm at today, like anybody can do it. You just have to fight, like what we were just talking about. And that's when we bring the outdoors into it, because a lot of guys are like, dude, I'm just fucking tired. Mm-hmm. Like, bro, me too. But that's why we're here. Like, this is where we get to heal. This is where we get to recharge. This is where we get to have this man-to-man conversation without any judgment, no weird things if you just start crying, because I've seen that happen too, and that's fine. Like, It's just a thing. But this is where we make that happen. And coming out of camp is where the follow-up comes in, and we help and, just check in. But dude, just telling people a little bit about my stuff and a little bit about my story and where I've been and what I've experienced and things like that. There's a lot of people that relate. There's a lot of people say, damn, like I was hanging, or I was eating my VA Skittles left and right and hammering down a bottle of bourbon, like on circling the drain, and something happened. Like, well, the reason why something happened is because you still have a mission here. You still have a job. You still have something to accomplish. Don't fucking quit.
Exactly.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss, but
please do.
There it went.
Please. Hey, you know what? I understand military. That's how it is. So no, please. I want people to understand really where you're coming from, and sometimes that's what it takes. Honestly, people have to know you as a person. So it's
a real and raw thing, man.
It is. And you know what? I appreciate you saying that, because like myself, I'm not a vet. I appreciate all of you guys that are vets, and I appreciate everything you've done for my country. I'm a huge patriot. A lot of us in hunting are huge patriots. A lot of people are vets, but it definitely comes across different though when you're having that conversation with somebody versus when I'm having that conversation, because you can say, hey, I've been there, I've done that, I've felt that, I've tried that kind of a thing. And I think that's what makes you guys so special. And I don't mean to blow smoke up your ass or anything like that, but it does make you guys special because you have been there, you know what it's like, and you can share those feelings and sentiments with them. I'd love to be a fly on the wall, and if I ever had the chance to go on one of those hunts with you guys, holy crap, that'd be freaking awesome.
It'll be fun, and there's some wild stuff. We had, I can tell this story. So we had a couple of veterans in camp. This is last year in Utah. We had a good buddy of mine, Cody Ritter, come out to take pictures to photograph it, right?
Uh-huh.
And he had never met the other two. He and I met one time in Durango, Colorado at a mountain archery fest after having a couple of beers.
Uh-huh.
And I invited him on this hunt. So, of course, he came out and he walked in, and it was me and the two other veterans. And we had been in camp for a day and a half at that point. So, you know, the atmosphere is a little bit more relaxed, and Cody walks in and we're just at it about something, like just going after each other, like making fun, having a good time. And he starts laughing and he goes, "Man, my cheeks hurt." And one of the other guys goes, "Which ones, front or back? Because I can fix that." Oh, and Cody was like, "This is going to be a good weekend.
It's going to be a good time."
You know, it was a fun weekend. And it's cool to have like Cody, who's a civilian, come into camp and like get to see that camaraderie firsthand, because he comes out of camp like, "Oh shit, I get it.
Yeah.
I see what these guys are talking about." And then I can't put words in his mouth, but he can go out and affect change in his world, right? Whether it's with veterans or first responders that he knows, like, I know these dudes, and these are some of the things that they're doing. And who knows what kind of ripple effect that Cody will create just by seeing that dynamic and that environment, you know?
That kind of seems to be like your guys' MO right there. Your goal of Second Chance Outdoors is really just making that impact in the community, whether it's the vet community or civilian community, the community in general. I think bringing that awareness is huge. And like I said, I've watched you guys really closely over the last little while, and I mean, it's definitely changed the way that I look at people. You know, so I lived in Colorado Springs for the last 6 years, or close to Colorado Springs, and you know, there's so many vets there. The Air Force Academy is there. We got Fort Carson, and then there's just so many vets. When they're done, that's where they come. And I can't tell you how many vets are on the side of the road. You know, you see the cardboard signs, "Hey, veteran, need some help." And man, I'd love to throw every single one of those guys in my car and help them. But I'll be honest though, you know, following what you guys do and following people like you definitely changes my outlook on those guys and their lives and what they've been through. Having these kind of conversations definitely helps. I hope that the people are listening to this podcast, I hope it's impacting them as well, that, hey, you know, we need to help these guys out in any way that we can. I mean, there may not, you know, we can't throw everybody in our car and take them home and take care of them for life, but there are things that we can do and get them in touch with the right people. And I mean, I don't mean to put words in your mouth and say what Second Chance Outdoors is, but that's what I feel like it's about.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And that is coming full force. I was talking to a very close person in my life today. I was like, man, I'm getting ready to go on this podcast. I'm working on these things. They're not ready to be discussed yet because of because of the impact that it could bring. But I can assure you that there's work being done right now that is going to do exactly what you're talking about, that is going to provide so many resources for our veterans and first responders in one central location that it's going to be bigger than anything I've ever seen in my life. And so I'm trying to make that happen. What that is, I wish I could say more because it's so vague, but there's like 900 moving pieces and everybody's moving in the right direction. We just have to put a bow on it and make sure that things are done the correct way so we can help people.
I'll make sure you have my phone number in that chat that we have going on. As soon as you launch that, let's do this again and then talk more about that.
It's going to be very, very, I will say that we have a large healthcare provider behind us on this one.
Good. So
that's outside of the government's control.
Good.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. That's honestly, that's necessary. You have to have that support.
Whether or not we can put a bow on this sucker or not, we're working on that. And I think that's kind of a big goal, is to be a central location for veterans to get resources and physical and mental health help that they need in one spot. So
nice. Well, that again gives me chills. I'm excited about that. That there needs to be a lot more of that. Let's be honest. There's so many vets out there that need help in so many ways, physical and mental. There's just so many that need help. And so appreciate you guys pushing forward on that and doing that. You got me excited now. I want to know what's going on. I'm gonna hit stop here real quick.
As we move forward, and as this thing gains steam and more puzzle pieces come into play, then I like everybody's gonna know about it.
Good.
Everybody's gonna know about it.
Good.
So
I'm excited.
It's nerve-wracking.
I'll bet that's the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night.
little bit.
Yeah.
That's why I opened a coffee shop, dude, so I could have coffee all day.
Drink all day and all night. Hey, you're making me jealous over there. It's funny. I can hear. Is that what I can hear in the background? Is there making coffee?
There's stuff happening.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. So that's honestly a great segue into like what's the plans for this coming year? What do you guys got going on? Other than that, is there anything you guys can talk about? Mountain Archery Fest or things like that going on?
Absolutely. So I will not be able to attend Mountain Archery Fest much this summer. The first event is around June, the first weekend of June. That hasn't ish, kind of, sort of. We'll see emails on that coming. But my daughter is scheduled to be born on June 1st, so I'm kind of out this summer.
Dude, I was going to tell you congratulations, by the way. My baby, her name is Ellie, and I saw what your baby's name is going to be. So
absolutely, man.
Heck yeah,
that's
bud.
Awesome.
That's so cool.
And it's my first. So
it's your first?
Yeah.
Dude, that's freaking awesome.
I'm stoked on that. So I won't be attending Mountain Archery Fest this year, but I know Nate and Josh plan on making a couple of those. In February in Kansas City, we're hosting a cocktail hour at Kauffman Stadium where the Kansas City Royals play.
Yeah.
We've got business owners all over the Kansas City metro area, both veteran-owned and non-veteran-owned business owners coming together. And what we're going to do is hopefully raise $5,000 for Second Chance Outdoors so I can write a grant to a veteran-owned startup and provide them with some liquid capital to get their business off the ground.
Nice.
Yeah,
Dude, that's huge.
And not only with the grant, we are going to partner that company with another entrepreneur, right? So first quarter they have an entrepreneur mentor. The second quarter of the year they have a different mentor. Third quarter they have a different mentor, and the fourth they have a different mentor. Why? Because if I give you $5,000 and you've never ran a business before, you're not going to do diddly crap with it, right?
Yeah.
But if I give you $5,000 and a little bit of knowledge with a mentor and some guidance and some, hey, this is where I screwed up, this is what worked, then maybe we can take that $5,000 and make you a little bit of extra cash so you can grow your business.
Yeah.
And now you are empowered to go forth and hire some more veterans or give back to your community the way that you would like to, or provide that positive impact that you would like to do. So that's kind of the goal for the cocktail hour coming in February.
Well, you use the perfect word, empower, because you're very right. I think that if you just gave it to him, it would disappear. Not with everybody, but with quite a few people, because they just don't know what to do with it. And if you don't know what to do with it,
you don't know what you don't know, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And like, so if I can be there to be like, good, I've done it. It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Let's try X, Y, and Z instead of A and C, and a more calculated approach.
Well, and having more than one mentor too, because we're not all perfect, and you learn. In my business, I've learned from so many different people along the line. So to be able to have multiple people to learn from, I mean, that'll be a huge benefit for them, whether it's for that business or just life in general. Let's be honest.
Bingo. And that's it, man. That's it.
I was gonna look up and see what the dates were for Mountain Archery Fest, but I'm having a hard time pulling up when they are.
They might not be on the website just yet.
Probably not, huh? Let me see here. Event
locations. I know I think it's coming. Man, I just had an email on this or a text message from Brandon the other day.
So I got Weber County, Baku Center, Ogden, Utah. Oh, that's Utah. That was already done.
Oh,
yeah, we already did
is that the
one.
Mini-Math?
That it is. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they have the new ones listed.
Well, as soon as I know, I will shoot them over to you so we can get them out to your folks and get more people out there.
Yeah, I'd love,
because it's a cool thing. It's a cool place to go. It's a fun event.
Yeah, I think people get so stuck on another big archery event that they don't look past that to what else is going on. And I don't. Do you know Western Contours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on Guy's podcast way back in like pre-COVID, I think.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, dude. Like Guy and our buddies, dude. He's a good.
I've listened to a lot of his podcasts. Maybe I did listen to the one with you. Gosh, now when you get old, you forget stuff. You'll know about that
I hear
someday.
You. No, that's there's one from way back in the day, and then we did one earlier this summer at in Durango at his booth.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
So he's kind of the one that really got me, like, kind of notified me of the Mountain Archery Fest, and so I started looking into it and what they are, and then we started kind of tagging each other in Instagram and things like that, really understanding what the Mountain Archery Fest is. And you're right, dude. It's a party. It's a good time.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Where else can you go? And here's my shameless plug for Mountain Archery Fest, man, because they've been a huge supporter of us. The Pope and Young course. Where else are you going to shoot that many world records in a day?
Yeah, never.
It's a foam target, but they're molded after the legitimate Pope and Young record holders, man.
Exactly.
And the shot is very similar to the actual shot that was taken for the record.
Yeah. How cool is that?
That's badass.
That is absolutely putting yourself in that position. And I've heard people say that. Oh, it's a foam target. Who, what's the big deal? Those are the people that haven't done it. I can tell you that. Anybody that has hiked that mountain and shot those targets,
Dude,
they
it's so
understand.
Much fun.
Oh man!
And not only that, but the community that surrounds MAF, they're in it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're so the Initial Ascent guys, Guy, for example, Diego from Main Beam Addiction, the Bowhitch dudes, Armando and Doug, all those guys, they're not just another vendor at an event. I've got all their phone numbers, and if I was stuck in Idaho, I could call Dennis from Initial Ascent and be like, bro, I need help.
Yeah.
And he would help me out. New Mexico, Armando, bro, I'm stuck in Albuquerque. He'd be like, oh, good luck, man.
Yeah.
Click. I'm just
no. Actually, I have a podcast coming out. When people listen to this, it'll already come out. But this Saturday or tomorrow, I've got a podcast coming out with Dennis. Dude, he's a cool dude, man. I like that dude a lot.
He's such a good guy, man. And humble.
Yeah.
Dude is so humble and he's so smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't let him sleep on you.
He's a little too smart for me. He went off onto some of the stuff with their bags and their frames. And I'm like, all right, dude, you're going way past what I got. It's kind of like with you. It's kind of like having a conversation with you about all this stuff. It's way over my head, but hopefully the listeners are getting some of it out.
No, man. I still have to be told to color inside the lines and what crayon to use. All right, so
dude, come on now. You're making coffee. If you're making your own coffee, you got to be a pretty smart dude. Yep.
Not that hard.
So you can't do it.
You know what? If you make it down to Kansas City, I will teach you how to make any kind of cup of coffee you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, that seems
not that difficult.
Well, it's difficult for guys like me. It's just difficult to put the K cup in the little hole there and push it down, and make sure it's got water in it. So.
Well, that's just
exactly. Half asleep doing it.
Yep. Dude, I hear you. I'm the one who comes in the morning and usually opens, because we open at 6, so I get in about 5. And I don't even make a cup of coffee at my house. I just get up, shower, head to work. And then I come in, and sometimes I want to put a K-cup machine in here. So I don't have to worry about all the fancy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be, I think that would be a sin if you put a K-cup machine in a coffee shop that's not, that's wrong.
I should receive a swift kick to the rear end.
Yeah, you should. Oh, so anyway, so back to you guys. So you're not going to be at the Mountain Archery Fest. Well, you might be to some, you said, right?
SEO will be there to some of them, but me personally, I won't, because again, little Ellie's coming, and I figured, probably can't take a 2-day-old on the road to Colorado.
Yeah, mom probably wouldn't like that very much.
So when we found out her due date, I was like, June, July, August. We can still go elk hunting. She goes, "Are you kidding me right now?" Like,
oh yeah, dude,
yeah, just kidding.
I messed up on my first shot, so I've got 4. I messed up on my first one. He was born in November. Don't do that, because that's a great time to be out in the mountains. You know, mule deer. Just don't have a kid in November. Well, word to the wise. But my other ones I did really good. February, and then the other 2 were in June. Perfect.
Beautiful.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. As long as it's not during hunting season, we're good.
Good to go.
My wife's probably going to walk in here and come beat me or something.
She's going to see a shoe come flying. Like, oh, okay. Hey, man, duck.
Yeah. No, that's exciting, though, dude. I really am excited for you, especially where it's your first. A little girl, a little Ellie. Oh, man. That's going to be awesome.
We did the gender reveal, and like the first words out of my mouth were like, man, I'm screwed, because she's gonna be like not in a bad way, but oh man,
yeah, there's a lot of worry coming your way, brother.
Absolutely.
It's a mixed emotion. Like, you're so excited to have a little girl, but then you're terrified to have a little girl. So
I was thinking, like, man, if I had a boy, like, you could just roll them around in the dirt, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they're easy. They're so easy.
Can you roll a girl around in the dirt?
My Ellie, yeah, she'll do anything the boys will do. She's what is she now? 2, a little over 2 now. Well, she was born in June, so cool. Yeah. Oh my goodness, she's a handful.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm stoked. Like, I'm terrified, but extremely excited all at the same time. So,
well, good for you. Well, good. I'm glad that you're going to stay home, stay with her. I mean, something that I love about what we do and things like that is it does allow us to be with family and be with the people that are most important. So, what you guys do is very important, and I appreciate that. But number one is your family and making sure that they're good to go. So
you got to have that solid foundation if you're going to go out there and try to affect change with anybody, right? Like, if I'm broke going into camp, then I might not be able to put my best foot forward and provide the help that these folks are needing or wanting. Mm-hmm. So, you just gotta make sure that your foundation is solid before you go out and try to impact change. Because if you've got a crack in there, dude, it's going to get exposed.
Yep.
And it's going to crumble, and you're going to be hurting.
Yeah. Dennis and I talked a bit about that, because they based their packs off of a foundation. It kind of got us going down the topic of building our life on the foundation, building a foundation, whether it's our religion, building that foundation on Christ, or building a foundation within your family, whatever that is, you've got to build that foundation. And for you guys, a lot of the conversations you guys are having, a lot of things you're doing are with people that don't have that foundation. They don't have anything, let's be honest. I mean, they're just trying to get by the next day, the next hour, the next minute. And so trying to change their lives and instill that foundation, I mean, that's really where I think you guys can provide the best help, honestly.
I don't think it's a one size fits all, pour the foundation and keep rocking and rolling. And I think, just like you alluded to, right, whether it's family, faith, whomever, whatever that looks like for you, that foundation is different for every single person. And so when we go into camp and we go with these folks, whether it's a police officer, an EMT, firefighter, or a veteran, like, each one of their stories, while they may be very similar, are completely different. And then you just have to find what motivates that one individual to build that foundation, whether it's faith, or whether it's they have a kid on the way, or whether it's, dude, I want to run for Congress. Mm-hmm. Well, you want to run for Congress? Let's get a solid foundation for you to. I've never had anybody tell me they want to run for Congress, but that's something you need a solid foundation on. So that's kind of where I went with that. But yeah, that solid foundation of understanding who you are, why you react the way that you react to certain triggers or certain items that happen throughout your day. And this one's the toughest, trying to figure out that why you react a certain way. Mm-hmm. But you got to be able to understand it a little bit so you can go forth and put some good out there, just keep on keeping on, like Joe Dirt would say, man.
But I look at these vets that talk to counselors, and I'm not discrediting any counselor. There is that place for counseling and social work and things like that. But I think that the thing that or the benefit that you guys bring to the table here, and we've kind of talked about it, when you're on the mountain, it destroys you. It just absolutely kicks your ass. I mean, let's be honest.
It's awful, but I love it.
Yeah, exactly. But it makes you humble. That's the thing. It will humble you. I don't care who you are. I listened to Donald Trump Jr. talk about that. He's super powerful. He's got all the money in the world. He's got everything that he ever wants. But even him getting out on the mountain, hiking his butt off, he's like, it humbles you. You hear
real quick.
Exactly. So to take these people that don't have this foundation and may have a little pride to them, some of these vets have some pride, a little bit. They all do.
You're not wrong.
But it allows us to. I'm sorry, I'm speaking way out of turn, and I ought to just shut up and let you talk about it. But I guess let me ask you that: do you see that when you're out there with them? Do you see that breakdown and you see that humility as you're having those conversations and beating them up like this?
Absolutely, and I can say that I've seen it in myself, even having these hard conversations, whether that's in camp with other people or looking in the mirror and having a hard conversation with the dude that's looking back.
Yeah,
like you got to humble yourself. You got to eat a little bit of humble pie. And I was talking to a veteran buddy of mine who, man, whatever. He's a good friend of mine. He was an arrogant dude in the military, man, but he was very good at what he did. And so when he got out, he kind of carried that arrogance, and I hate that word. There's got to be a better word, but it is what it is, right? Carried that arrogance with him outside of the military, and it just kept like, no. One of the things that he and I have talked about recently is, as a veteran or anybody who's making a transition from active duty to civilian life, or even the first responder, a former police officer like I was, going into corporate America or going into the private sector or whatever, like, nobody owes us a dang thing.
Yeah.
Like, you had to earn, if you're a Marine, your Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, right? Navy, all your uniforms and pretty pants. Airmen, you had to earn the golfing privileges, right? And for your Army infantry guys,
right,
you have to earn your blue cord. It's the same freaking way out here. Like, you want to be a CEO of a company. Well, you got to go work.
Yeah.
You want to go, I don't know, do whatever it is that you want to do. Like, just because of your status as a veteran, like, nobody owes us a thing. But we know how to work harder than just about anybody in the room. So shut your mouth and go to work.
Yeah. That's what, and actually I'd like to get your take on this, but like, I read books by Jocko Willink and David Goggins, and they talk about that. It's like, we are the hardest workers. We have put in more blood, sweat, and tears than probably anybody has. We should be able to be successful in normal life. What's your take on those guys, and are you on board with what they're preaching out there, or is it a little bit of fluff?
Dude, man, that's okay.
I don't think they listen to my podcast, so they're not going to come
Either
and
way,
beat us up.
I mean, it's a lot to unpack, right? Because they're not wrong. They're not wrong. We are capable of doing these incredibly difficult things. We're not just veterans, but humans as a whole. Like, we're capable of doing these incredible things. In fact, I was talking to my mom about this today. She's getting older in age. She now has a granddaughter on the way. So I don't know if that's kind of or she's never been a New Year's resolution person, but it kind of works out that we're talking about this right after New Year's. But she went to work out today, right? For the first time, and probably she's 60 something years old, probably 60 something years. She went and worked out. She's like, man, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to go back tomorrow. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
She goes, well, it was hard. Well, your brain's going to quit before your body ever does.
Right.
And yes, it's hard. It's supposed to be hard, but it'll never get easier. You're just going to get better. But circle back to the mental health part, right? There's got to be a tactical pause. Yeah. You've got to be able to take that tactical knee when shit's getting wild, when shit's getting Western, recalculate, reassess, and reapproach. Because if you just keep bashing your head into a wall, you're going to knock yourself out eventually.
Right.
So that's my whole take on the whole do hard things, don't quit, but there's a tactical pause or take that tactical knee for at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't use it as a crutch.
Right.
Just because you're a little sleepy doesn't mean that you need to not show up and run your business the next day. Like, no, go to freaking work.
Right.
But if you're at that limit, right? Like we all know that limit of I'm just tired or boss, I'm tired.
I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're getting to that point, like just go. I don't care if it's hunting season or not. Go sit in a tree stand.
Yeah,
do nothing.
Exactly.
Just go.
Go do something.
If you don't have access to a tree stand or a mountain right next door, go to the park and walk around. Just go outside. Go do something. That's not super hard, but it's gonna reset you. It's gonna give you that opportunity to disconnect. And I don't know about you, but like if I'm out walking around or throwing my ruck on and going for a ruck, nothing else matters except for putting one foot in front of the other.
Yep.
And the more I do that, the more miles I get behind me, the more clear my thought process comes. And the more like, okay, so this is how I'm going to handle this. This is how I'm going to handle this. This is how I'm going to handle this. And I get home and I write it down and then go.
That's exactly it. So I'm a marathon runner. In fact, I'm running a marathon tomorrow. But that's what it does for me. Is it allows me to really break things down and look at, okay, I got to exactly what you're just saying. I got to do this. I got to do that. And like you said, it could be just finding that mountain out the door and go hike that mountain. Go climb up that tree and sit in that tree stand. Throw your ruck on it, and go walk. It's going to do that for you. And I mean, going back to what you guys do with Second Chance Outdoors is you get people out there and you walk, and it allows them to do that as well. They're really, I'm sure when those guys are hiking up with that pack on their back to wherever you guys are taking them, to Hellhole, Colorado, wherever,
Bro, we found one this year.
But I'll bet it does that. I'll bet it really lets them just start to break things down in their head. It probably reminds them of some of the stuff you did in the military as preparation that, oh yeah, that's how we came up with the missions and the strategies for that mission is we broke this down. But it wasn't, it wasn't just a random thing. We weren't just whatever. We were strategic about it. And I think that's what happens when you're out. When I'm running a marathon, that's how I feel. I can be very strategic about what I need to do. And it's a little bit of that humility that comes along with it. A little bit of that I'm just doing something that's hard and it's making me tougher. I think it all just kind of boils down together. And going back to the jock, I just pulled up the book. I have a book of his right here, Dichotomy of Leadership. Oh, yeah. Really good book. And what I find in those books, I mean, I do think there is a little bit of fluff in these books.
They're Navy SEALs, man. They got nice hair and shit. They're always pretty. Like, of course, there's some fluff in there.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to sell a book too, But what I do find is exactly what we're talking about here. It's breaking ourselves down, being humble, doing hard things, so that we can be better people. And I think that's what you're trying to do with Second Chance Outdoors. Is you're breaking these people down a little bit on the mountain, letting them be strategic about their lives so that they can be better people.
Absolutely. And then just giving a little bit of time and a little bit of your effort towards somebody, like sometimes that's what they need. They just need that one person to say, hey man, you can do this.
Yeah.
And off they go.
That's what I was worried about, those guys sitting underneath the overpass in Colorado Springs, is do they have anybody? Is there that one person that's there to help them? And I don't know if there is. Sorry to get real.
I have mixed emotions on that aspect of things. This is a real freaking problem and we need to figure out how to solve it. But at the end of the day, let's call a spade a spade. How many of those people have put themselves into a position to allow them to fall into that lifestyle?
Yeah.
Right. Now we're talking something about addiction recovery. We're talking about financial recovery. We're talking about just a whole bunch of things that go into that specific population that I haven't even begun to even figure out how to crack that code yet. I know there's some great people out there doing great work in the homeless population, and there should be. But what that is a full reintegration into society, because these guys, I mean, being an EMT, right?
Yeah.
From that background, I was a police officer. Like, I know what the homeless population, what they do and how they operate. And you can't take a homeless guy, give him a house for a month, and expect him to go get a freaking job.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know how.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do with it. Exactly.
And so they're the way that I think it could or should be approached is we identify these veterans, speaking in our realm, find these veterans. You have to vet them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to vet the veterans, right? To make sure that
pun intended,
they really want to do this. And then it's a full send reintegration process. We went through boot camp to learn how to go kill people and break their stuff.
Right.
This homeless Marine, this homeless Air Force guy, this homeless Army guy, we're going to have to put him through the same freaking boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
Ish.
Yeah.
Without killing people and breaking their stuff. But we're going to have to put him through the same boot camp of, hey, man, this is how you put on a suit again.
Yeah.
This is how you have a casual conversation with I don't know how to say it, but like a not homeless person.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that sounds weird to say. Like I'm putting them as subhumans, but I'm not. It's their culture and it's the way that they communicate, right? Like we all communicate through different ways and different cultures, but that's such a big, I could go on this one for a while, man.
But but it makes sense though, because people need to learn how to, they need to learn how to live in a different way. They need to learn how to communicate in a different way. I mean, to kind of read or to digest what you're saying and reiterate it is this, you take I'm even going to use me as an example, and I don't mean to make myself sound amazing or anything like that, but
no, you're good.
I'm a farm boy. I come from a small town of 1,000 people. My parents they didn't go to college. They didn't do anything like that. To take somebody like that and teach them how to work in corporate America, to be a vice president of a company, I had to basically go through boot camp to learn how to have those kind of those kind of conversations, to live life a little bit differently than I would if I was working on the farm, cutting hay or whatever, I mean, I think the same rule applies to these guys that are homeless, these homeless vets, is kind of that same thing, is they need to learn how to go from point A to point B, and you can't just shove them into point B and hope it's going to work, because it's not going to work. They've got to have that, I love how you say it, that boot camp. They do need that boot camp to get back into life.
Well, it's to say, hey, man, go from A to B, and they've been homeless for 10, 20, 30 years, or even 5 years. Who knows how long what that transition looks like. But to go to A to B, they don't know how to get there. That's like when I got to basic training, they'd be like, hey, man, go from the chow hall to the PT field. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you're going to go from here to here. Well, I don't know how to get there. You have to we're going to have to figure out a way to show homeless private first class Timmy, how to go from homeless to not homeless.
Yeah.
But that's literally walking step by step by step. And quite frankly, nobody wants to I'm sure there's people out there that want to do it, but it's expensive and it's difficult. And I'm sure the success rate is very low,
right? Because
of how intense that it's going to have to be. But man, it's doable. It's feasible. You just boot camp it. Yeah. And I know it's so easier said than done, but I don't know. But that's how I would approach that problem.
We talked about doing hard things. This would be a hard thing to do. Like you said, it's going to be, it's expensive. It's hard to do it. But if you really look at the grand scheme of things here, you're saving someone's life. And
absolutely,
I've been on that ambulance saving people's lives. I've worked in the hospital in the ER as an RN saving people's lives. That
shit's hard.
It is hard. And this is the same thing. It may look a little different. Absolutely. I'm not pumping somebody's chest as we're doing this, but it's a different approach to saving people's lives. And whether that's saving their quality of life and what they're, the life that they're able to enjoy, or literally saving their life, it's all the same. So
absolutely. And I think there's some traction in that realm of homeless veterans and things like that. But dude, that's going to be a long fight.
Yeah,
that's going to be a hard fight because quite frankly, I mean, the thing that you're fighting the hardest in that realm most of the time, and I don't have any statistics to back this up, but I just have real world experiences. Addiction, man. Like we are gonna have to fight addiction, and that sucker is tough.
Yeah, ridiculously tough.
Yeah,
and kind of getting back to what you guys do. I know that the homeless side of it is a big part of vets and caring for the vets. But I think there's also those guys out there that nobody even sees on the street. They're trying to live a normal life, but in the inside, they are breaking down and having a lot of problems that no one ever knows about until something catastrophic. Yeah, exactly, till it's too late. And I think that's where you guys, again, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your rear end, but I do think that's where you guys are super beneficial.
Well, and that's one of the biggest things that we're trying to advocate for, man, is like, if you're in that spot, what did you do when you were in the military?
Yeah.
Right? Like you look to the people to your left, you look to the people to your right when you're in that gunfight, thinking, shit, I need help.
Yeah.
Hey, let's communicate on how we are going to unscrew this situation that we are currently in, and it is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like you communicate, you work together as a team. What's the difference other than bullets? Like bad guys trying to kill you. Now you're your
own worst enemy. Your demon's trying to kill you. Yeah.
Why can't you look to your left and to your right, the people that you relied on to get you through one of the toughest, hardest, craziest, most chaotic things in your life? Why wouldn't you call that guy?
Yeah.
You call me and you're that guy, like I'm coming.
Yep.
Like I'm on my way. If you're 14 states, if you're 4 states over, dude, I'm coming. Yeah. Like, hang tight. I'm on my way. You're going to have to give me a little bit of time to get there, but let's talk.
Right.
Let's figure this out. And I mean, I've been fortunate enough, and I'm so grateful to be on that receiving end of the phone call, to be able to look at my wife and be like, hey, I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
And she says no. And out the door I go, man. And I was able to get to this veteran's house, and he had things rigged for him to hang himself. And he called me, he's like, I'm done. And he's crying, like he's doing that big, real, like dude cry when you know like shit's real.
Yeah.
And the phone went, like it just fell. The phone fell. He dropped the phone. I know that now, but out the door I went, man. And he and I just sat in his living room, dude. And I didn't go in there like a counselor, like, so talk to me about your problem, mister. Like,
right.
Dude, all I did was just walk in and sat there.
That's all I needed.
Until he was ready to talk. And then it was just,
yeah.
And dude, and since then, like, we're getting him therapy. Like he's going to a counselor now. Outstanding. I'm working on finding him a new job, because the job that he was in was one of the biggest stressors of his life. And he didn't even have a financial, like he didn't have his budget squared away. So he didn't even know how much money he needed to make in order to pay his bills. But the job that he had was paying a boatload of money, but he was working all the hours in a week and didn't even have time to go fishing, because that's his thing. He wants to just go out on his kayak and go fishing. Well, we're working together to find him a job to where he can pay his bills comfortably, save a little bit of money, and still go fishing.
Nice.
Got him hooked up with the VA, because he didn't even have health care at this Fortune 250, Fortune 500 company, because he didn't know how to get health care. Nobody walked him through that process. Like when you enlist in the military, it's just, here you go. Here's all your shit. Here's your uniform. See ya.
Good luck.
On the outside, it's completely different. Like you got to know what open enrollment is, you know what an event is, and if you've never been to boot camp for civilian world, right? Like you don't know how to do these things, and it's it's so basic, and it's so basic sounding to say it out loud and enunciate it, but like peel back to the most basic level. Some of these guys joined the military and they didn't even have a family when they started.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So they didn't have somebody to show them how to go get health insurance or anything.
Right.
So that he's one of those guys, and man, he'll be there at the cocktail hour and next month, and he's getting ready to sign on with a company that's here in Kansas City. They're veteran owned, they're veteran operated. They work in a controversial career, like in a controversial career field. He's going into the cannabis industry. But guess what?
Hey.
It'll give him time to go fishing.
Yeah.
It'll cover his bills. And we got him enrolled in VA healthcare.
Perfect.
Now we've started to build a foundation. Now we can lay that next layer. What's the next step? What do you want to do now? Well, I want to do this.
Cool. Let's do it.
Let's go, man. Now that we have the basic patrols, your basic tasks met, food, water, shelter. Now we can stack on and keep on building.
Oh man, that's awesome. Do you, and I'm sorry, not to detract from that story at all, but with Second Chance Outdoors, do you guys do fishing trips and stuff like that as well as hunting trips?
Yeah, man, we took a Iraq veteran on a fly fishing trip this year to Colorado.
Oh, nice.
His wife called Nate and thanked him. She goes, I don't know what you did, but Brian, I can say his name. Brian's back. Brian's home. And that's
what it's about right there. That is what it's about, dude. Gosh.
And we didn't catch shit. Sorry. But man, we sat on the side of this river. We cooked and cast. Like we did all the things, right? We sat on the side of the river and like cooked over an open fire and just, I'm a terrible fly fisherman, man, but like
doesn't matter.
It was so much fun.
Exactly. See, that's what people don't understand about hunting. That's something I've tried to convey my whole life, my whole adult life, is that hunting is anything, hunting, fishing, camping, name the outdoor sport, whatever you want to do it. It's not just about harvesting an animal, catching a fish, whatever you think that ultimate goal is.
You'd enjoy the journey, man.
Exactly.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy the journey. It's just like life. Just enjoy the journey. It's what's why we're here, honestly. So
old Ferris Bueller said it best, right? Life moves pretty fast. You better slow down or you might miss it.
Exactly. I feel like it's going by pretty dang quick right now. So
bro, it won't slow down.
It won't. Wait till you have that baby and all of a sudden she's 5, all of a sudden she's 10. Oh.
That means I'm going to be way old.
Yeah, it comes at you quick, buddy. Oh, shoot. Well, man, I don't mean to keep you all day. I know you got a shop there to run and things like that. Is there anything else going on with Second Chance Outdoors that we want to give a plug about, talk about, anything like that?
So we're looking for blog writers. I know you and I kind of talked a little bit back and forth. I'm looking for some writers to come in, some veteran writers, first responder writers, or whomever, and talk about the outdoors, mental health, their experience with that. There's going to be a collaboration coming out very, very soon towards February that's going to align a few other items with the outdoor industry and things like that, and wellness all together. So I'm looking for folks that want to help contribute to that, just for the simple fact that I've started writing myself, and it's helped me tremendously just to even journal at the end of the night. It doesn't need to be like, Dear Diary. No, my stuff's like a list. Like, today was insane. The Kansas City Royals donated a Whit Merrifield bat. Wow. Exclamation mark, circle, like blown away. One of my favorite players. Holy,
it's real.
And I can, like, at the end of the night, like, you just go to bed. Like, it's brain dumped and it's there. It's written down. So if I need to go back to it, it's there. And so it's just one more of those tools, right? And that's all it is. It might work for somebody. It might not. Like, and if you got a story, I want to hear about it. I want to read about it. And if you want to write about it, I want to grow our blog so we can have some of those mental health resources out there. And whether that's something that you and I work on together, or if people just pour into our site and we can, I don't know, we'll figure something out.
I was going to say that's definitely something that we need to work together on. And, one thing that we tell people with Ehuntr, because we've got writers that write for us, is, I don't care if you're a English professor that knows how to write a beautiful paper, or if you're like you, I just write my list and it's there. I really don't care. I've been writing for a long time. It's kind of been my passion. Now it's kind of moved into audio and media, but I can fix anything. So if whatever your writing looks like, just send it in. Let us, like you said, I want to hear your stories. I love it when I had a guy send me he went hunting sheep I can't remember if it was Rocky or Desert, but just randomly emailed me his story and some pictures, and I'm like, dude, I'm turning that into an article.
Yeah.
That is so freaking sweet, dude. So
that's awesome.
So I hope it's the same with you guys, that anybody out there that wants to write and share their story, you never know who you're going to inspire. And if you inspire one person, it's all that matters.
That's it. Throw that rock, throw that stone into the pond, and just let the ripples do what they need to do. As long as you're putting good out there, man, good's gonna happen.
Exactly.
And we need more of it this time. these past few years that have seemed like one just long, never-ending year.
I've got another word for it, but I won't say it right
now. That's fair.
So if somebody does want to write for you guys, right, on your blog, what's the best way to get a hold of you and say, hey, I want to be a writer, or hey, I want to contribute, I want to donate, I want to do anything like that? What's the best way for people to touch base with you guys?
Our website, secondchanceoutdoors.net. Instagram, obviously, that's the big social media. Shoot me a DM. I'm the one who checks those. Or send me an email, logan@secondchanceoutdoors.net, or text me, 907-952-7436. And now it's out there. So if you ever need anything, if you're a veteran or a first responder listening to this and you're that guy who I need to come talk to that night, like, I'm on my way. There's my number. It's out there. Use it.
I'll put all that information in our show notes below so that people can just quickly link to that and get in touch with you guys. I think what you're doing is special, man. I really do. Again, I'm not trying to blow smoke. I'm not. I do think what you're doing is special, and I've seen it in my life, and I've seen it with guys in the military that I've been around. I've been around a lot of first responders in my life. My father-in-law was a police officer. My dad's a fire chief, paramedic. So I see the impact that just a hard life has on people, whether that's a hard life or whether that's a hard 2 years or a hard 4 years. That kind of stuff can mess a brother up or a sister up. And so
there's a lot of things that get crammed into those short amount of time, whether that's 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, 30 years. Like
those guys, I don't know how they do that 30 years in the military. Are you kidding?
Or like a 30-year cop. Like,
oh, geez.
How angry are you all the time?
Oh, you. That's why I run, is to get rid of that anger. Yeah. If I was a 30-year cop, I'd be running 60 miles a day.
Move over, Goggins.
Exactly, yeah. The Goggins ain't got nothing on me. Oh, gosh.
Heck yeah.
Well, shoot. That's awesome. I'm serious about, as soon as you launch what's going on, Logan, let's jump on a call, man. I'd love to know more about it and get it out there. Like you said, I'm sure everybody will know. I'm sure it's going to go out and just blast out. But I'd love to be part of that. Selfishly, I'd love to be part of that. And we've chatted a lot, but we'd love to be a part in any way that we can help you guys. We fully 100%. Support you guys. Monty here with us. He works for the sheriff's office. I mean, we have so many people in our lives that this kind of stuff can impact. And so on a personal level, on a professional level, we want to be there to help you guys out if we can. So just let us know what we can do to help, okay?
100%, man. We're not one of those big, crazy corporations. I mean, any I hate saying donation, or because I hate asking people for money and things like that. But like any little bit of support that is given to us, whether that's a follow or a like or a share or $5 or $5,000, like all of it goes right back to doing what we're trying to do. And none of us take a salary. None of us get paid for doing this. We've probably put more money into it than we'll ever get out of it.
Yep.
And I know none of us would change a thing of it, but I know I can speak on the behalf of the board and Nate and Ando and everybody that's involved in this thing. Like, we're so grateful that people are actually giving us money.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me, that because we're just guys, man. We're just guys trying to make an impact, and people are like, money's important.
It is.
And they're just keep going. And it's so humbling to me, and it's so cool to me that these people are entrusting me to be a steward of their hard-earned dollar that you bust your ass for. And I can guarantee you and anybody else who listens, and whether we're here forever in the small startup space, or we get to be on a NASCAR car one of these days, like
right.
From me to everybody else, like we were going to be, like, the most important part is being a steward of your money and ensuring that it's going to what we say it's going to.
Yeah.
Not a vacation home in the Bahamas or something. Like, I don't even want to go there, man.
But I hope people do realize that when you donate to things like this, and I know telling people to donate can be hard. I totally understand that. But going back to our conversation earlier, what this can truly do for people, this saves people's lives. You can't put a dollar amount on somebody's lives.
You can't.
These things are expensive. We have to have the money to do these things. And so whether, like you said, whether it's $5, whether it's $10, every penny that anybody can donate and help out with makes a difference. So I'm more than happy to put that plug out there, because I know I've seen it. I've seen the impact that just a few dollars to a nonprofit makes. So
yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So cool, man. Well, I'll let you back to the coffee shop, and I know you guys. Well, what time do you guys close over there?
It's what, 5:00 here.
Yeah, 5:10
my closer just left not too long ago, and I'm just gonna tear down my espresso machine and clean out the insides of it and call it a day.
Man, sounds delicious.
Be back here at 5 a.m.
Ooh,
to do it all over again.
You're a military guy, though. 5 a.m. is nothing, right?
It gets to be something after a while.
It does. Wait till you have that baby, man. You have that baby, 5 a.m. Yeah, it's just gonna be the norm.
I hope she's an early riser but will allow me, and I'm probably a little overconfident in this, but I would like her to be able to wake up with me and have that, like, daddy-daughter time in the morning when it's just quiet. I can have that cup of coffee. She can't yet, but
yeah, just
be like, we don't have to talk. We don't have to do anything. Just be together and build that bond. I hope that can happen.
Well, if it doesn't, if she's a late nighter, change your schedule, because it's,
I guess I'm going to switch it up.
Yeah, my first boy, he wanted to party till 2 a.m. every single night. My wife would go to bed about 9 or 10 o'clock, and bro, me and him we just hung out. We kicked it all night long. Yeah, dude, he was just pounding milk, and it was a good time. So
I love it.
Take advantage of that time, brother. It's special. Man. So
I appreciate it.
Cool, man. Well, I'm sure we'll talk soon, but sure appreciate you. Appreciate Nate and Josh and everything that you guys are doing. Again, let us know how we can help, but we definitely appreciate what you're doing, and hopefully we can talk soon. We 100% will be talking soon, because that thing's coming. Cool. Sounds good, brother. Well, I'll let you back to it. Brother. Be good. All right. Be safe. Bye. We'll see you soon. Later.